Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Time with Rella podcast. I'm your host, Cindy. Honestly, I feel very shy, but I am really excited to be doing maybe our very, should I say this is our very first video podcast? But I'm excited about it. Yeah. So I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at the camera and also making sure everything is working very well. Yes, I'm doing this whole thing myself. So forgive me. Anyway, welcome back to the Time with Rella podcast. Hi. This is actually a post graduation episode, yeah? It's a post graduation, Jesus. You see how nervous I am. Anyway, this is a post Valentine episode, yeah? So I don't know if you listened to the episode I did with Ivy. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. We talked about love, some of the lessons and things we're learning about love. And I feel like maybe some of the things I said were a little more vulnerable, but I don't know. When you listen, you decide. So let me sit down, get a little comfortable, and we get this rolling. So, hi, how did your Valentine's go? How did you celebrate or not celebrate? I know that for a lot of people, they don't really care about Valentine's, but for me, I think I'm in between. So I think maybe this episode, let's just talk about approaching love with a healthier view or from a healthier viewpoint, if that makes sense. Yeah, so stay tuned. Anyway, for me, I didn't really do anything for Valentine's, but I think it was actually what I needed, just being at home by myself, processing and reviewing maybe things I'd like to change or evolve. Yeah. But I was listening to an episode this morning, Jay Shetty's podcast basically. And he said a lot. If you have, I'll even recommend you listen to it. Go to and listen to his latest episode. He talks about manifesting I think right partner or something like that. But this isn't about just about maybe getting somebody. I found that episode interesting because he talks a lot about human behavior, and I like it. He talks about desperation and he talks about detachment, and I like the examples he gives because they kind of like relate to different scenarios. Because even when you're talking about desperation, it's not just only when you're not in the relationship. There's some things that we may be doing sometimes that you can refer to as desperation even while people are in that relationship. So if you listen to that episode, I really, really liked it because maybe some of the things that we don't consider as maybe an attitude that you say, okay, this person's acting desperate. He mentions it. And I really, really like that episode. So listen, I feel like everybody has something to pick from there because a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm detached. Even me, I was saying that I wasn't detached, but there's certain things or certain actions I will take or certain words I might say that simply will be showing, oh, okay, she's a little detached. But I really like that he talks about it because, hmm, we, and I'm going to say this here. Okay, let's start from my favorite thing, or like, okay, so for a long time, yeah, love has people they like to sell love or the idea of finding your true love and all that. I remember listening to Brené Brown where she talks about that we are bombarded with love, but actually the failures of it, or and then I know I'm murdering this, yeah, but she said something like that, and I think it's even from Bell Hooks as well, where they talk about there's so much lovelessness in the world, and when it comes to love, I can tell you that for a long time, yeah, my approach towards it was unhealthy. Now I don't know. I know it's not only me. Love can sometimes be seen. I know how we talk about how they even when it comes to religion itself, people talk about how God's love is the greatest, how a mother's love for a child, how fathers love, parents love. But then a lot of us still view love as weakness. They feel if you open your heart to love, it means yes, love requires vulnerability, but at the same time, love is being um seen as weakness. And right now, I'm not even telling you to look at it as strength. Yeah, I'm saying maybe we need to approach this, or we need to take a review on a lot of things that we believe and see where these beliefs are coming from. And I'm going to say maybe we're not directly taught that love is weakness, but I think it's the environment you grow up around, the people you grow up around, their behaviors towards certain subjects, maybe dating, love, marriage, relationship. A lot of it are unhealthy. A lot of it. So for a long time, love is being looked at as weakness, especially when it doesn't work out. You tend to look like the foolish one, or so they say. Because I remember someone saying that about me one time, that because they feel that it is you're either a winner or a loser, basically. When I don't think that is like a healthy way to approach relationship of love. And I think this even helps me when I reflect with even my friendships with people or my relationships with people. Sometimes it doesn't work because it doesn't just work, or you guys are not a great fit. And that's okay. I don't think there's any winner or loser there. And from like what Jay Shetty was saying, I really, really found that very interesting. Where he talks about how some people see love as weakness. So a lot of people pretend that they don't want love, but that's what they want. Like they're pretending not to want it and then still acting detached and desperate at the same time. You need to listen to that episode. But anyway, so that's that. I think we need to review our beliefs or thoughts when it comes to topics on love. Yeah. So I one thing I remember talking with Ivy about was about Valentine's Day. And I was like, I wish, yeah, we approach these things with a little more consciousness. And I wish we approached love itself or relationship itself with a little more consciousness. And I'm going to say this: love and relationship are two separate things. And for a long time, we've seen both of them as the same thing. Where you hear people say, love hurt me, love do this one. Love didn't do that. Maybe it was the relationship that just wasn't good for you. And people blame love for all the hurts that they feel. So they decide not to feel again in their life. Good for you. Not good for you. Please heal. But anyway, I when it comes to these topics, yeah, I wish we approach them with a little more consciousness. And I remember saying to Ivy that it feels like the subconscious beliefs of love or relationship that I grew up with keep clashing with me or the person I am right now or I am today. Because it's like maybe you grew up around people that say, oh, if this person loves you, they should be acting this way, but they're not acting that way. There's, and then it becomes like a problem within you. But for me, the struggle is that I have evolved as a person, and there are a lot of things that I do. I always like to consider myself and consider other people. And some of these love or relationship standards don't make sense. If I really want to look at everybody like a human being with compassion, with grace, there's a lot going on. We are all adults. Everybody have things doing. We all, everybody's kind of being broke. We all want to be able to take care of ourselves, our loved ones, our parents. And when some of all these standards come, they don't make sense to me because life is happening. So, like, I remember I was saying that, yeah, it depends on the two or the people involved in that connection. And I think that we don't, there's so much relationship advice. While I mostly get towards the ones that come with consciousness, I hope those kind of conversations are can get to people that need to hear that. See, most of the things that all these expectations that you have concerning love and relationship, a lot of them are ridiculous. A lot of them are unrealistic when it comes to when you're dealing with another person. It's so easy when it's just us. You're working on yourself. You do things that, but then when it now involves another person, I think we have to now keep working to find our middle ground to exist, to get to the point where we can both be ourselves and still be in this love connection. Yeah. And most of, like I said, in most of the things I grew up hearing, it just didn't make sense anymore to me. Maybe it makes sense to certain people, but to me, it just didn't make sense anymore. And I don't know, I don't want to list it to kind of like put it in a box, yeah. And some of the things that people assume about women and men, I think they are ridiculous a lot of times. And there's a time that they say, okay, list your red flags. I have a few that maybe when someone is talking a certain way, I'm like, I don't really think it's going to work out. I know, sorry, but I think this is when it comes to love and relationship. This requires a level of self awareness. This requires you getting to know yourself. And I feel like for a long time, we've been taught love as an outward thing. Now we talk a little more about self love, but most of the time, the self love they talk about is the woo woo things. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. The self love that they talk about sometimes are maybe go to spa, do this one, love yourself regardless. I think that's a step, yeah, but that isn't everything. I think love requires a lot. If you want it real, if you want it healthy, if you want it authentic, it requires certain things that a lot of us may not be ready or don't even value. Yeah. And I think for my journey, it took me peeling out layers, taking off these things and not really me to get to the root of, what, this is what makes sense to me. And literally, this is why I do not take advice from